One of the main things that we haven't even covered yet is we called it what? Geo-arbitrage,
Hmm.
where you make money, let's say in the States or Euro, and then you go somewhere else and it's like 3x of what you can buy. Talk to me about that because I know you've probably experienced that more than me. What places have you been like, wow, this is amazing, and the dollar or the euro goes way further?
For sure. Well, one thing on that I think a lot, especially if you don't travel often, like a lot of Westerners don't realize is that you can go to there's almost 200 countries in the world. You can go to almost any one of those 200 countries, minus maybe 10 of those countries that are Canada, Australia, US, UK, New Zealand, and geo arbitrage your life. Like most countries in the world are not to the level of expenses that those few Western countries that we're so used to because they're English speaking, they're familiar, et cetera, et cetera. The prices just are not comparable. So, like, you have most of the world in your back pocket if you are looking to geo arbitrage. Of course, like, I'm not saying go to Cameroon or something like that in Africa, but like, you do have a lot of options. And geo arbitrage was actually one of the big reasons why I ended up leaving Canada and going to China because I knew, and I was in Shenzhen, so it was right across from Hong Kong. Prices have definitely increased since I lived there, but making a Canadian salary and living even in a big city of 12 million in China, like I was able to geo arbitrage my life. Some Ooh, it's tricky to say like exactly some places because quite honestly, like most of the countries in Asia, obviously in Bali, there's going to be certain areas. And I think most of the island, I haven't been there for quite a few years and I know it's changed quite a bit, but most of the island is a little bit more expensive. You can still find something, of course, that's more affordable, but you can easily pay over $1,000 a month too. So I think it just depends on where you're looking, but most of the countries in Latin America, most of the countries in Asia, you can have a great quality of life. You can even order delivery every meal if you wanted, or just go to the local shop down the street, have some delicious local food, and still utilize geo arbitrage.
So true. I think it's so funny. I'm realizing this about myself the last couple of days here in Rio. Usually, like, I don't order like Uber Eats or anything like that. I go to Costco, meal prep. But here I'm like, oh man, I'll pay the dollar for delivery. Oh wait, I can get three meals for the price of one. I'm getting three meals for no reason. I need to chill. But
That's amazing.
it is so true. Like the dollar goes so much further. My friend Brian, who travels all over the world, he makes a lot of reels, and one of the reels that always goes viral is like make what does he say? The best place to make money is in the US. The best place to spend it is in Europe. And that's because we travel to Europe during the summer, have a lot of fun. But what countries would you say is actually, let me just ask you this: number one underrated country that's not the Bali, it's not the Thailand, that's not the Medellin that everyone kind of hears about?
Hmm. Great question. Again, I will say which one I think, but it's in my opinion. And so I think it does depend on what you are looking for. But for me personally, and I think it's a little bit less underrated now, but I lived there for about a year in 2021, and that was Turkey. And I just fell in love with Turkey. We lived in Istanbul, so I like big city living. Not a huge fan of rural life or forests or beaches. I like a big city. I like lots of things to do. I like to go to cafes. I like to meet up with people when I want to. So I liked Istanbul. And then in Turkey, there's just such a diversity of it snows in the north, of course, not in the south. In the south, they have beautiful beaches in Antalya, and you can do like boat tours and yacht tours. And then they have the stunning mountains with mosques, and it's just picturesque with the snow and the forest, and it's just beautiful. And then a nice aspect of being located in that region is that Georgia's right there. So we just hopped over to Georgia for a little bit and then Azerbaijan, and you can keep going from there. On the other side, you have Eastern Europe. So we were in Serbia and Bulgaria, Romania, Montenegro, all of these beautiful countries, the Balkans, like the Balkan region. And it's so easy to get around. And so for me, I think that was, of course, because I had a great experience. It's not the same experience for everybody. But there definitely are some hidden gems. I feel like Asia's becoming a little bit more popular. I love Thailand, so I'm definitely biased there. But there are definitely some hidden gems as well in Latin America. And Peru, I think for me would be one of them. And I think some people talk about Peru. I don't see enough people, in my opinion, talking about how amazing Peru is. But maybe not for you because of the food. But I think if you love seafood and you like a city lifestyle and the city is right on the beach and you just have a beautiful ocean view, water in your apartment, and then the rest of the city on the other side of you, like it's just amazing. And Peru has everything.